Tonight, Bob Jones University Board of Trustees released a statement following President Steve Pettit's resignation. We first told you about this resignation last month. Now, Pettit announced his plans to resign at the end of the school year. The following week, though, the university released a letter addressed to the university explaining why he is leaving. In that letter, it mentioned another board member, Chairman Dr. John Lewis, who later announced his resignation just 1 week after Pettit. Now, yesterday, we received this statement from the university providing an update on Pettit's status. It says in part, quote, "The Board of Trustees has received the resignation of President Steve Pettit effective May 5th, 2023. Now, the board is thankful for his presidency of 9 years. During his tenure, the university received SACSCOC accreditation and regained the tax exemption status. The board is currently making plans for the future leadership of BJU. Now, you can read that full statement on our website, foxcarolina.com.